Come on, YouTube. Let's not be it today. Let's just. There we go. I see it saying live, but I'm not seeing my face. There we go. Ah, goodness gracious. What a way to start. 3 more times. Woo! Okay. Every Friday at 5 o'clock Central Time, we usually start live at the Bearthoughts podcast, but not today, my son. It didn't want to start for any of the sites. I had to restart and re-go, and that's annoying. But if you want to be in the conversation or ask us any questions, I got my wife's hair stuck in my beard. Be sure to be in my channel at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock, and Winter Time, 3 or 4, depends on when your time zone is. No, remember that's when you got on Discord, I guess it turned off all of my settings. Can you say something for me?
Hello, ¿qué pasó, mi
There we
amigo?
go. Yeah, like, what happened? I just reset my computer one time because there was an update. That's probably what happened. The update probably fucked up everything. I literally had an update today. So, I'm starting to not want to do updates apparently because now
I'm low, but I'm
low?
audible.
Okay, well, let's see.
Low. I had to have a conversation with our DM too about how friggin' loud he was.
Yeah, that's sometimes he's started like tongue licking the mic. I'm like, what? Huh?
Well, no, I had a conversation with him. I understand what was going on now, and I explained to him how to fix it.
He also need to fix his mic because it sounds like trash. But he's probably not using a very good mic. Let's be honest here. He's probably using the standard bog, like headset mic or mic on his laptop, whatever he's using.
Okay. Anyway, so I have a couple of things. I'm going to help you stir shit at the beginning of the next mission, just so you know. So just be prepared with what I throw out. I'm gonna give you a line, and you're gonna be able to run with that shit like a bat out of hell. The only thing that could derail us causing chaos in the first 5 minutes is if Stealthy makes the one play that I think would actually rein you back.
Mm-hmm. I had a fun time. For those who didn't get to see yesterday, be sure to go check out the D&D campaign we started yesterday with a new DM. I had plans almost from the get-go. It's like, okay, how do y'all meet? I'm going, okay, I am not, like, he's seriously like, oh yeah, you're off the quest board, you're looking at him like, I'm not with them. There's no way my character would be with them. There's just, yeah, we're all buddy pals already, we're already friends, and we're just walking along, linking arms and walking down the street together. Like, there's no way. That's not how people meet. Like, this is the beginning.
Well, I mean, you heard what I said. I told him, I said, I'm just looking at the mission board. I noticed that there was a shorty that couldn't see it, but it's not like I showed up here with her, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, like, and then what quest y'all choose? I'm like, I don't know, because I'm not with you. Yeah, I'm glad that everything went well. It went well to a point until somebody decided that there was no escape, and there was no way of retreating or even a way of like protecting yourself to keep yourself alive. Like there was a no win-win situation, and I had to say the weirdest part for me was that the first town we went to or we were in, there was literally no potion shop. And I'm sorry, if potions were real in my life and your life, everybody would have one.
But in reality, though, as someone that has looked into this campaign, that's not a him thing. That's a legit the way the town is.
Yeah.
You know how Stealthy said it would make sense to go do the next mission that we talked about?
Yeah.
You're not really supposed to find out about where that location is until we do that mission, but because we were going in and out of shops and people were giving us information for shit we were doing, we kind of know that it's over in that direction. So that's why we got to go over there. They purposely didn't put it in the town to give you incentive to do that quest.
Yeah, do that quest. And we're like, you know what? Let's skip that one. Go to the next one. Oh boy. I had a lot of leeway.
Went into the buildings to begin with.
Yeah.
Hmm? I'm sorry.
She's saying we never investigated like the shops or anything before we
Yeah.
even left for the other quest. So like even if we wanted to spend that money that would have gave us that information to sway our minds, we were like, fuck that shit, let's go do something.
Yeah. Then again, I probably derailed it, so probably didn't help. But then again, I felt like that almost immediately got us into some way of breaking off some dust, and getting y'all maybe used to maybe how to play in the game again. Like again, I had never played D&D myself, like really played a campaign of it. So, but I watched a lot of D&D, so I had a lot of ideas of what things were. And since I had my character being not a mute but unable to speak, allowed allowed me to play a role that was unconventional and
Right. Right. Which was great. It was fun. And it's like I said, that character that I created originally was never meant to be the long-term character. I was just trying to get myself back into the habit of playing. So, but Jesus, I mean, he was a fucking jelly magnet. Like, dude couldn't. I mean, I'm surprised there wasn't jellies in town at the mission board. You know, this motherfucker everywhere he turned was a jelly. But it was fun. It was interesting. I didn't have a whole lot to say with that particular character from the standpoint I didn't know a whole lot about that race. You know.
Yeah.
But if you noticed, I had a lot more to say once the other character got into the game because I know how them fuckers act. I know what they do, and I know what he's thinking. He's thinking the same shit I be thinking, you know.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious when that character sheet come into the Discord. You was like, "How am I not surprised at this shit?"
Yeah, I looked at your kid like, yeah, that seems like more Corvo's alley. Now, wait, how many campaigns have Stealthy played before this?
None. This is her first.
So how do you think about this, Stealthy? You have to probably come a little closer to Mike if you want to give us your thoughts on it. Your first time playing.
He said, "What was your opinion on playing it the first time?"
Other than the fact that there was a whole lot of fucking poop jellies.
Well,
well, you got your pet right at the get go, man. So you
listen. I have a problem with her pet because he splattered that shit all over everybody. Everybody. I mean, I get that your pet is stinky, you know, naturally, but he didn't have to make the rest of us stinky too. He's like, ooh, everybody has to smell like me.
It didn't bother him one lick. I can tell you that. I'm just glad that it went over well. We're gonna be doing it again. I'm glad that, though I'm kind of like curious of how the other guys would have done if we would have got rollover or the other gentlemen. Unfortunately, they weren't able to show up or able to come in. Kind of sucked a little bit because I was hoping to get to meet them and maybe get to know them. If y'all are watching this this podcast, I hope I get y'all next campaign, or maybe when someone else does the campaigns for us, they'll be a little bit more acceptable to having more than just 4 people. I get 4 people could be a lot, but more chaos is always more fun.
Well, I mean, in most D&D campaigns, 5 is considered full, 1 is considered tight, 6 is considered a handful. Okay.
Yes.
But that being said, the person that's volunteered to possibly do the second campaign as our DM, I don't think she had a problem keeping track of shit because she's highly organized and highly efficient.
Mm-hmm.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Only problem I see is she knows all 4 of our asses, which means she's gonna have some insight into what the fuck we might be thinking.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm not gonna lie though, I want to keep my character. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, if this character dies, I want to make another character. Oh, this character dies, I want to see how far my character can go the distance. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to.
And I'm like that with the one I've created now.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, like I said, I didn't give a shit. I was like, I gotta figure out roles and shit again, you know?
Yeah.
So what the fuck ever. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, the most frustrating thing in the world is when you roll great fucking rolls to be able to hit something and then roll trash damage every roll. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, I can hit him, but I can't do shit to him.
Yes, yes. Like I only had one good hit, and that was a 17 on like 17 damage. I'm like, oh god, yes, this is the damage I want. This is the damage I want to do. And afterwards, like, nope, 9, 5, 4, 2. I'm like, okay, my number's just going down and hitting. I can hit him. That's not a problem. Hitting him was surefire with my character apparently, but not landing a good hit was just like, nope, nope. I got 2 nat 20s though. That felt great.
Give her the fact that one of our party members decided to yeet a torch.
Which
and a poop turd.
Which I made a mistake last night when I hit 2 natural 20s. I was supposed to increase my damage. I didn't decrease my damage at all on both those nat 20s, which was regretful because I remembered afterwards, like, wait, when you hit a nat 20, you're supposed to do double damage, right? I had 2 nat 20s last night. Didn't do it. DM didn't remind me either. Then again, I don't think it's not his fault because he's still learning. But he's already been 1 through campaign. He should know what nat 20s were because he pulled a nat 20 on one of us.
Well, there is a
on
difference.
Me.
So here's the difference. The difference is D&D Beyond does nat 20s different than nat 20s at a table.
Yeah.
And the last time he run this, he run it at a table.
Yeah.
So the fact that he has made all the maps, got all the maps together, hidden the mobs, and got everything ready, I'm actually kind of impressed for him to go from tabletop to this that fast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him a little leeway on that just because he's still trying to figure it out. Just like one of the things that was slowing him down last night, me and him was talking about it, is he had gotten everything set up for us to roll and us to move around and stuff on the map and hide the creatures. But what he hadn't had a chance to do is set up the creatures' roll sheets. So he was actually having to look to see what to roll for them by physical paper.
Yeah.
Now he has went in and started creating the sheets for the monsters, so it'll be a little faster, be a little easier. He'll be able to just click, this is it, let's go, that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a learning curve for him and us, but I did crack up when he messaged me today. He's like, I was watching back the stream. He's like, it is weird as shit to hear yourself. When you're doing, I'm like, you get used to it. But yes, you're right. When you first start doing it, you're like, is that what I really sound like? I sound like that?
Of course, I need to remind myself, and DM, if you watch this too, as far as I always remember, nat 20s were if you roll damage, let's say you got a 7, you just do another 7. It's like the damage times 1 more of itself. And that's a crit, right? Like, it's like if I had a 17, it's a 17 plus another 17. So that's something I've always understood. Pathfinder is a little bit different. Unfortunately, tomorrow's Pathfinder is canceled because of my DM's work is going to be a little bit preoccupying him, and some other people are going to be going to. I think somebody's going to Sonic something, or Sonic Race, or Sonic some kind of music festival. So they're going to that, and some other people are calling out. So we're like, okay, let's just end. Let's not do it this week. Do it another time, which is kind of sad. I was getting used to the every other week doing Pathfinder. I was hoping that actually, like, if I could do like 1 week Pathfinder, 1 week D&D, and just like keep that the rhythm going, that would feel so nice. So I can keep that juices going.
Well, as of right now, I'm planning on my streams on Thursday. We're gonna do D&D.
Yeah. We just got to figure out a good time for y'all, because I know y'all, especially the 3 main people, all of course the DM as well. Y'all have to get go to bed early, and honestly, I was ready to go for another hour. Like, but that's but I don't have to worry about waking up at that crack of dawn like y'all do. So if we have to move it to another day, like a Friday, and we're gonna like, hey, Friday, we do it right after the podcast. But then again, trying to figure out what people or how long they're able to go for, because I know a lot of people, since time frame of keeping interest or keeping involvement in a game like D&D, since how long it is, can last hours. I've heard people supposedly they literally would do D&D from the morning and then go eat.
Healthy was saying she wouldn't mind starting an hour earlier on Thursday so that we could get that other hour in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like instead of starting at 6, starting at 5, or instead of starting at 5, your time starting at 4.
Yeah.
That gives us that extra hour, and we still get to bed at a decent time.
Mm.
But dude, I was it was so funny.
So let's give a quick view of our characters now. I'll let you guys start with your character that had a hell of a night. Let's not spoil anything here, but your character had a lot of ups and downs, I would say, but mostly downs.
Yeah. Well, so my first character, I built him out of a race that yeah, my first character, I built him out of a race that I'd never played before, didn't know shit about them, and just randomly throwed shit on him just to get him into the campaign. The whole purpose of that was, like I said, I was trying to get back into the swing of playing the game, but he was a Dragonborn, uh, and he was a multi-class warlock druid, toting a scimitar in one hand and a staff of fire in the other.
Yes.
And the shit part of it is those were all great if you roll good damage.
Yeah, if you roll.
There ain't no amount of equipment worth a damn if you don't roll good damage. And then for some reason, he was a fucking magnet for the mobs. Like, it didn't matter. I believe I could have left him at the front door and a mob would have showed up that wasn't originally planned. I mean, he just was everywhere he went. There was fucking jellies, and he was just catching hell. It's always him died.
It's so funny that that most beginning stages or most beginning campaigns, even like in fantasy novels and stuff like that, it's always like, hey, your first monster you run into slime. It's slime almost every single time. It's just a staple character, but ours was poop, and we were unfazed by the idea of these creatures splitting in half. He said his other campaign people were punching him, and my notion is I'm too stupid to realize to punch him. I'm just gonna smack them with axe until they die. That's just my thing. But at the same time, I also know by smacking with axe, I can do a lot of damage. But the problem is they also split into multiple little fuckers. Right. And that's something we all had seen like this.
That's one of the things I was a little confused about because I realized that shit was going to happen when they split. So I was like, all right, so instead of hitting this motherfucker with my scimitar, I'm going to hit him with my lightning breath. Now, I don't know exactly how lightning breath breaks shit into parts. I was under the impression that shit just fried, bubbled, and went away. But apparently I have edges on my lightning breath, and I sliced this bitch into pieces.
Maybe they bowl and then it pop, right? Like it's like a bowling bubble, and they just pop and they slip right into two. I don't know. I guess the only way of actually defeating him was melee, right? But at the same time, he's like, oh yeah, but if you hit him with melee, you can get your arm stuck in there, and you can take acid poison, which was the main crux of these little guys. From the get-go. Damage they do
the acid damage was the shit.
Because you could not half it, you could not, prevent it. It was just a lot of damage, and one go if you roll bad dice. So it was a dwarven temple, as far as I could tell, which I was working on. I wish I finished it before time, because I was literally working on.
I didn't do anything. All I had was literally swords.
Yeah. But I was literally working on a cave and temple overlay template for this campaign. And I'm like, okay, we're not gonna need it tonight. No, we're gonna need it. I'll work on it later. And then we're like, oh, first thing we do, dwarven temple. Damn it! I had that stuff ready, but I did a lot of stuff for it. I hope it goes well. I hope y'all all see my work I put into it. I put a lot into it. Corvo's put a lot of work into his side of it. Be sure to watch that too. I say even though things went down the way they did, it made the first episode so interesting. Like, Like even intentional or unintentional, it kept every minute of it left something to be desirable to watch. Like even when you got we got our first our first fight, we was already interested because we were already dealing with the consequences of that. Then we get into the hallway incidents. Then we had to take quick actions or somebody's going to go down there. I was trying to make sure that didn't happen. Right, I was doing everything I could to make sure that happened. Rolling nat 20 on that one, by the way.
I had a thought that would have made that so fucking hilarious. I'd have had to have a good roll.
Mm-hmm.
But when your ass went to yeet over me, I could have rolled an opposing roll and just been like, shit. And that shit would have been hilarious, but it didn't occur to me until today.
Yeah, like, well, you would have to roll it better than a nat 20, which is like nat 20 is guaranteed to happen. So like it's really hard to do that, but you could have done it. And then the orc fight, which was really like, what the hell? Honestly, I'm surprised the other two dwarfs didn't come help us because honestly, if I was a dwarf and I heard that noise, I would have come check out what's going on. But apparently, they didn't show up to the end.
He was trying to get us murdered.
Yeah,
he was going for TPK, baby.
Yeah, I made the joke was like, hey, it'd be funny if it were your first TPK because it'd be wild like your first one, you actually kill all of us. But I didn't think in the first episode. How you doing in the first episode? There's no episode 2 or 3 or even a campaign. There's just a one-off. I'm not trying to do a one-off here. I'm trying to do episodic. I want multiple. But at the same time, like I say, if you can imagine a campaign where you get all the way through it and the last boss, they really make it where it's mostly impossible to beat, and it's almost part of the plot of the story that the heroes all do die. Like that would be so brutal, but it would be unique. So I'm looking forward to more of it, and I hope I see more of y'all there. Hope y'all see the effort we're putting behind this. My character is a barbarian, but later he'll be a totem bear barbarian. He is a dwarf, and he doesn't think he's human. He can't speak common. He can't speak dwarven. He's not that bright. He's pretty much give him shiny or give him stuff to entice him, and he'll be your best friend. But he loves smashing things, but he's still a dwarf on the inside, so he still has his dwarven needs, shiny things and alcohol, even though I don't personally drink. But I want my character to be just madness. Just madness. I don't want him to be the person that's taking things serious at all. Common sense is out the freaking window, and he puts his coin purse to use. If you ever watched it, yeah. Puts that thing to real good use. So be sure to watch it. It's on the YouTube channel right now. Go watch the VOD. It happened yesterday. Hope we get more into it, and hopefully no one else dies, because I like the story to keep on going. I want to go to the dragon, which is usually where most campaigns end up at the dragon. I wonder, has he told you yet if we're going to be leveling by event or leveling by kill?
I'm not 100% sure. I didn't even ask, but I do notice we did get EXP last night.
Mm-hmm. So my question is whether or not we level through that method, or we just choose like, hey, everybody get up a level, and then we're gonna start rolls. I know in D&D, under this, you level up, you have to roll to see how much more health you get. And certain classes get more dice, certain classes get certain other dice. I gotta remember how that works, but again, I watched a lot of them before. So okay. You said the DM was thrown for a loop with us, and he gave you some thoughts and views on it. What was his take of it?
He absolutely loved the craziness of it. I mean, it made it entertaining for him too, because he had no clue what the fuck was going to happen when you decided to be out in the middle of the woods, and we had to go out there and try to subdue your ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he made his offer to me, expecting me to take an offer to keep a character that I didn't give a shit about, but apparently he didn't realize that I didn't give a shit about it, so I let the character die. That kind of messed him up. And then when Stealthy chose to attack the mob instead of res me, he wasn't ready for that either.
Mm.
It was it was interesting because like I tried to explain to him beforehand. I was like, think of your normal campaign that you just ran. Now throw that shit in the trash can because none of us are like that. We will do random, crazy ass, weird shit. Like, for example, the new character that I created.
Mm-hmm.
I know how they fucking think. And there was no way he was gonna be within 10 feet of that fucking statue if there was a glowing ass stone on it. So I knew I was gonna stand back. At the same time, I know they're also curious, so he wasn't gonna say shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna see what the fuck happened, you know. Um, and to be fair, as a backup, I do have cure wounds, so I mean, in a pinch, I could have gotten the paladin up, and the paladin could have gotten you up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a plan, but I was that devious, curious fucking. I was chaotic neutral. I was like, I know I ain't going my ass over there, but I'm wondering what the fuck's gonna happen. I can get them up. It's all right. We're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, so it was very that part was like, wow, okay, one shot. That's a great thing to give a trap right at the beginning of your campaign. A one shot mechanic. That's fun. That doesn't cause for a TPK if everybody's too close, because I'm sure not any one of us had enough health to survive that attack if it was successful. And even for me, though I have a lower AC than Stealthy, I was like, what the hell? Stealthy has a 17, I have a 14. Who's the tank here? But Stealthy is a little hefty, not a gnome. She's a halfling. Halfling.
Little tanky.
Yeah, you are a little tanky. So it makes it a little bit safer for the healer to stay alive when she can't be hit. Just glad we haven't gotten to stealth situations just yet. I'm looking. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping the next time we go to it, we can do a little bit longer or start a little earlier if you had to. I will manage whatever I got to. I don't have more hopefully done. I'm happy of the results I put into it, of the overlays. The music does
The
good.
overlays are beautiful. They're
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. I mean, like I'm using your overlays myself. All I did was add some animation to some of them,
Mm,
but I mean, they're beautiful.
yeah. I'm hoping
Um,
to do more. Um, at least I want the backgrounds of the things to really stand out, but I want to be able to see the campaign as well. But I really want um the overlay to really make people, the viewers, feel like they're in the area with us, with the music and the ambiance that have come with the music. And I have a lot of animated stuff to go with them. uh I'm just glad that some people enjoy them, and if more people can enjoy them, because I watch a lot of D&D campaigns, and most campaigns I always see people at a table, which again, I know everybody who would like to be at a table. For those who do D&D, like to be at a table, but not all of us are able to be in life. So I hope you're open to the idea of watching this through a screen all separately, and hopefully later on we all get dice, because I heard the DM rolling dice. I'm like, I want to roll too, but I do like my little digital dice. It's you watched the last, or did you watch the Dungeon and Dragon movie that came out like a year or so ago?
yes.
Okay, my dice is from that movie, and if I roll a nat 20, the fat dragon comes out and roars at the screen, and then grabs the dice and flies away.
Yep. Mine does something similar to that.
So
Yeah.
I like that little nod. It is pretty cool. What happened in real life, but it feels so nice when you hit that nat 20. Um,
Let me tell you this hilarious ass story that happened to the Stealthy.
okay,
So, I've been working on the car,
yeah,
and I required a tool called a rivet gun the other day. And I knew I wasn't going to get off in time to go get it and get started.
yeah, I need a rivet gun
So
too.
she gets off a little earlier than me. So I tell her, hey, I send her a picture, go by, this store, pick me up a rivet gun and some rivets.
Mm-hmm.
So she books on over there, And she gets there and she goes in and she's looking around the store and she's thinking, where the hell am I going to find this thing in the store, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys walks up to her and says, ma'am, can I help you? And she's like, yeah, I'm looking for a rivet gun. And he's like, well, if I'd have known you were coming back that fast, I wouldn't have put it up. She's like, huh? He's like, yeah. Your husband was just here and said he might be back for it. And she's like, you sure my husband's here? He said, yeah, he's a little bit older white guy, and he was here with you know, and
Call. Are you sure that he didn't call first and say? He's like, no, he was actually here. He just walked out actually, like maybe 5 minutes ago. He's an older white dude, and he's got white hair. And I'm like, that's no, that's not, that can't be my husband. And they're like, no, but it's you know, it's your husband. He walked out. He specifically was looking for the river gun.
Wrong
I'm like,
husband.
I understand this. I understand, sir, but my husband is at work. Are you sure? Like, maybe he just got out from work earlier or something. I'm like, no, I legitimately just left him at work. To which the man stands there stunned, looking at me. I'm looking at him. I'm trying to keep from laughing at this point because honestly, I'm not upset or nothing. The lady who has been watching the interaction that works with him goes, "Ooh, you trying to get that man's wife, that wife's man in trouble? Her husband's gonna be so pissed off." And everybody busts out laughing at this point. And I'm just cracking the hell up. I'm like, nah. Like, he really isn't here. He's at work. So he's like, okay, I'll just check you out. As he's checking me out, it clicks in his head. Wait a minute. Wait, you guys work at the same place? Oh, well, we work for the same company, not the same department. He's like, man, he must really know when you're upset with him then. And I'm like, I guess? Like, I'm still like just shaking my head going like, what the fuck, man? Like,
this guy's awkward. I can
I
say
don't know
this.
whoever that
He's
was,
awkward.
but I just stole the fucking rivet gun from him. That's all I know.
so then she calls me and comes by work to have me double check that this was the right thing, and tells me this. I was like, damn, I'm good. Shit, I'm above D&D level 200. I can multiply and be in multiple places at one time. Shit, I'm rolling nat 40s, fuck 20s.
Yeah, you're
like, what the hell? How the hell am I in an auto parts store and fixing PCs at the same time? Damn, I'm good.
Yeah. What did you get from? Where'd you get the tool from? You get Harbor Freight, or do you go to like Lowe's?
Advanced auto parts.
Okay, I need to get me a river gun someday. It's a tool that I've been meaning to get myself because sometimes that stuff can come in handy, especially when you handle with plastic or metal parts. Okay, so glad y'all didn't find, have a world star moment there, because that'd have been really awkward. It's like, yeah, white guy. Yep, that's pretty standard white guy. Okay, white guy. White. Why is white in his beard? So maybe he forgot the head part. What else we got? Give me details. Of course, it got to been really awkward if the same gentleman he's talking about walked into the store like, "Sir, your wife's here," and something like, "What the hell?" That'd have been really awkward.
Automatically assume my husband was white.
Yeah, which is not really a hard guess considering where we are in the world, but yeah. Glad that
it was pretty funny when she was telling me about it. I was like, God damn, I'm good. Could be in multiple places. Shit. I need to send one of me to the house to go ahead and get to work on that car so I don't have to deal with that shit when I get home. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing at the auto parts store.
Okay, well, let's jump into another thing. Remember last week when I brought up the whole Sony and the debacle with the game? I want to say Warhammer. It's not Warhammer. Goodness gracious, what's the name of the game?
Shit. You talking about where they were throwing a fit? Withering War?
Helldivers.
Helldivers.
Yeah. Okay. Helldivers. Okay. So I told you before, Sony pull back your whole thing, and then and stop the whole requirement for needing a PSN account or PlayStation Network account. So here's a little tricky part of it, and I don't quite know how to feel about this personally, because I was giving the W to Sony. I was giving the W. I'm like, good job. This is where you should be. This is a great thing, and Helldivers, like, even playing off of it. We're gonna make a memorabilia, for this event of turning this all around. So the moment they say, never mind, we're not doing this, all the reviews started going positive again, right? They started going up.
Right.
And Sony said they're going to stop doing this. But then Steam, out of 170 countries, stopped the game being purchased there, right? So you could not purchase a game in the 170 countries, which is a lot of countries. Considering there's 190 and there's 170 without being able to play this game, that's 170 countries that will not give your game money, which I think is bad tactics. And this was from Steam's side. Even though Sony did say that they were going to stop it, they haven't turned it off yet. Meaning Sony has not, even though they say they will not demand that you have it, and they won't do it no more, they haven't stopped demanding that you have it.
So they said they're not going to do it, but they haven't implemented the fact that they're not going to do it.
Exactly. And until Sony implements it, Steam will not turn it on for anybody. Like, doesn't matter if Sony done said it. So even though they were saying, oh, yeah, we're going to reverse that out, the whole thing, they haven't reversed it yet. And Steam is like, yeah, since that didn't happen, we're just going to keep it off until you turn it back on, Sony. I don't understand how you're going to get that good, like that. Again, you had good tidings. It's like, yay, the gamers won. The gamers, like, they fought for their freedom and be able to choose whether or not they have one or not. And any nation, any world, without needing a PSN account, because like I told you, some nations, you literally cannot have one unless you physically own a PlayStation 5. Which not every country can buy a PlayStation 5. I can't buy a PlayStation 5. I don't think anybody, some poor kid in Indonesia can order a PlayStation 5 and get him access to the internet and be able to play it that way. But a computer, everybody can get a computer, pretty much. It's like every household has one nowadays. But still, some nations don't have access to it.
Well, I mean, some of the same people in Indonesia that's having problems getting PS 5s and stuff probably have problems getting computers as well, but
well, it's a rollover. No, not rollover. Big Fat. Y'all remember Big Fat? That my old mod, he couldn't get no console, but he had a PC. But he didn't have a lot of money. But then again, I don't think his family wanted him to buy him a gaming console. They wanted to buy him a computer so he could focus on school. So if you have access to a computer, you can kind of play video games, but he was still limited what games he could play. So I don't know what Helldivers is on that list.
There's still a shitload of those countries in them 170 countries that most of them can't even afford the computer, let alone a console. So, but that's not the point. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
The point is they're not going to turn it back on unless Sony does what they say they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't fault Steam for that. I mean, but I look at it like this. Turning it off is not as easy as turning it on, if that makes sense. Because they can't just turn it off. They have people that have accounts that they have to be accountable for.
Yeah.
So they've got to figure out how they're going to reconcile those accounts once they shut them off. Even if they say they're going to do it, hell, it may be months before they can actually do it. Doesn't mean they're not going to. Just means, hey, we're going to do it. You just got to give us fucking time.
Yeah.
Or it could be an incident, like you said, we're going to say what we think everybody wants to hear, but we're secretly not going to do shit. We don't know until a little time passes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that I'm on the fence right now. Let's say in a couple of months, if they actually do roll it back, I'm going to give Sony the W and say that it took them that kind of time to figure out how to reconcile and deal with people's accounts and stuff.
Yeah.
if they don't roll it back in a couple of months, I'm going to say they're being pricks and they said that they were going to do something and they never intended to actually do it.
Well, yeah, like I understand because at some point there was a post like that you will probably need to have one, and I never went about doing it, and then finally they implemented it, right? They finally turned it on because they got everything set up and now it's ready to go. But now they're like, okay, we got to turn it back off. Well, they got to how do we do all this stuff to turn it back off? This is now another work in progress. Again, I don't play Hellfire or Helldivers.
Helldivers, I don't either. Our DM does though.
Okay, our DM does. I wish we could get a better view, an idea on it. I just know that this game is still the one of the most popular games on Steam. So if it's still very popular, you think you want to have that game going as long as you can, and if you screw up your community, it's gonna die off real fast. I want people to enjoy video games, especially if a game they put a lot of hours behind. It's one of those kind of situations, put a lot of hours behind it, and then you're not able to play it, or it dies off. You're gonna feel like shit because it's a sunk fallacy, right? You're like you spend a lot of money into it.
I kind of look at it like this. Okay, so we both create content. And we know that it's a shitload easier to set up something out of the box new for content creation than it is to disable that same fucking thing later if we decide we don't want it. Because when you're setting it up, it's all new. You're creating stuff, you're setting stuff up, you're making stuff connect. When you go to disable it, though, you got to go through a very specific process to remove that, because if you don't, you're going to break the shit that you are going to keep. So I will say from a person that does information technology as a career, and also a person that has had to roll back something that we put into place, it can be harder sometimes to turn shit off than it was to turn it on. Period. I have seen it take a day to set up something and take a month to decommission it.
Because it's just that well implemented, or just that deep?
It's one of those things, like when you're setting it up anew, it's not tied to everything. But when you're disabling it, it has now been tied to all these things. And if you're not careful, when you're taking it apart, you're going to break shit that you don't want to break.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Okay. So it could possibly break a lot of things.
So she's got an example for you.
Where what I do, I have to do certain things. One of those things is to take information from like a website chat and determine whether or not it's spam, it's something that goes to a different department, where it belongs. And then let them handle how they're going to handle it for that department. Well, recently we were told that they were wanting to do changes to it.
Okay.
Do you hear the happiness in my voice?
Yeah, right, sarcasm.
Okay. I am absolutely thrilled that Elle has suggested to complicate my stuff, okay? Well, the problem with it is that Elle is claiming that he's going to make it simplified, easier, everything for everybody to use, when in reality, everybody upstairs already knows that in reality, all he does is complicate shit to the point of where it no longer works and functions the way it's supposed to, and then shit has to be redone just to get it to work properly again. Or at least semi-close to what it used to. Well, this implement wasn't supposed to happen until Monday. Understand my wording. I find out about this when I walk in today. Why do I find out about this, you say? Oh, a little email that was sent 2 hours after I left work. Letting me know, hey, just so you know, we're implementing this on Monday. Okay, so I don't gotta worry about everything being jacked up and bullshit until Monday, is what I'm thinking when I walked in.
Yeah.
I start doing my stuff that I usually do first before I get to my cases. How wrong was I? 3 of my things that I organize
Uh-huh.
in, I get to my 4th one. My 4th one, it's not spam, but I can't see the information on it, which is weird in and of itself, but it's not the first time I've seen something like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different the way it looks than usual,
Yeah.
but it's not out of the ordinary, like super out of the ordinary.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll do my usual, which is with those, I assign it to myself. I send the relevant information to the person so that if that's what they're looking for, they can go ahead and do it themselves
Uh-huh.
or let me know and I can assist them. If not, then it's just an email that I sent out. And then I delete that web chat, right?
Should have deleted
Oh
that.
no. I was so wrong. I go delete this thing and it is stuck
Oh, it's
in
stuck.
my queue. Now I am pissed because it's supposed to be gone because I like my shit looking nice and pretty and empty. That is
Yes.
my goal, to make sure that everything is done.
Mm-hmm.
To which I instantly realize this douchebag of a canoe has fucked it all up. And I jump up out of my seat, go running over to my boss, and I go, Jay, they said you weren't gonna do it until freaking Monday. They've already broke the shit. To which she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, if you go in here, and I list to her what happened just then. So she goes in, she takes a look. She's like, so this is what I was like, do not assign it to yourself. If you assign it to yourself, you will not be able to get rid of it right now. She's like, okay, understood. So you don't touch anything else. You keep doing what you're doing. We'll get back to it. So was there any information? I said, no, there's no information on it. 10 minutes after she goes downstairs to go bitch at B about what L has done, I get an email notification that tells me everything that was in the chat, because the chat doesn't assign itself to you until after you've done assigned it to yourself. That is what they fucked up. Then they claimed, notice the wording on this, they claimed that this was not supposed to happen, A, till Monday, and B, that it was a glitch in the system, and that C, had nothing to do with the new implementation or anything like that until after she had her meeting with L and D, or rather D, because L, mysteriously was not in today. So as I said, they had to revert their changes and put it back the way it was, and now they're having to rethink their launch for Monday.
Yeah, so a bunch of unnecessary things. They should have test run it first, and then implement it to everybody's computer. Do y'all not have like test rigs? Like you test the implement on a.
Oh,
On...
we do. The problem is that
just because it works one way,
L and D don't always test. They're like, this is our baby. It's beautiful the way we have it, and you're gonna deal with it. And then shit happens. They're like, no, but you can't make me take my baby back the way it was. But then B says, fucking revert it now.
Sometimes changes are not worth it, and make it a little bit more difficult. But
anyway, long story short is it can be complicated to fuck with shit after it's implemented and working, because you can break stuff easily.
I mean, think about it. That was implemented already, and they went to remove, I'm guessing, just the chat, and they fucked the whole system.
Yep, because once they implemented it, it was tied to shit it was never tied to before. And you can't just do a simple reversion.
Yeah.
Now you have to look at what do I have it touching, and how do I keep it from breaking what was fine before?
Now they have to figure out how to, for example, make it where we can still see the web chat within this system. But not just be showing it to everybody when they click on said thing. Watch out behind you. Right.
Right, you little fucker. Alright, okay.
So, but that's what we're saying. Like, all it takes is something like that where they go to turn it off and it fucks shit up. then they have to basically put it back into place until they figure out what happened wrong.
Here's a real simple scenario. I built a Plex server, right?
Uh-huh.
When I built that Plex server, it wasn't tied to anything initially, no issues. Now it's up and running, and it's looking at a network storage area where files are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I go to roll it off, it's not as easy as just rolling it off. I got to make sure that the item it is now touching doesn't get broken in the process. Wasn't an issue setting it up, but it is taking it off, you know? So, like I said, give them a couple months. If it ain't done in a couple months, I'm going to say they're pricks. If they take a couple of months, I'm going to say they had to legitimately look into how to take it off without breaking shit.
Gotcha. All right. Last little thing. I want to just quickly touch on this because I thought it was funny. There's a video going on of lately. You know, McDonald's. You've been to McDonald's plenty of times before. You know what they look like and their food looks like. And I forget what is it called? Is it called a Big Mac or something like that? Where there's like 3 buns and 2 patties of meat in it.
It's a Big Mac.
Okay, so I don't get Big Macs I don't really get their burgers from there. Someone did this video this past week, and another big streamer wanted to see if it was true. So there was a video spreading around of lately of this woman that went to her, got a Big Mac, and she literally took the patties out the Big Mac and took the pickle out of the Big Mac and did a side-by-side comparison. The Big Mac's meat was so thin, it was thinner than the pickle itself. And you know, she was quite upset about this. And this other streamer went to his local McDonald's and bought 3 Big Macs. And out of the 3 Big Macs, 2 of them were exactly the same. The pickle was bigger than the meat itself inside the patty. And then this past week, McDonald's decided to now release a new Big Mac with not 2 patties, but 3.
Okay, so you want me to tell you what actually happened there?
What?
Because I know people that work there.
Uh-huh.
So they ran out of the patties that were supposed to be used on the Big Macs, and they used normal cheeseburger patties to make the Big Macs. That's why it was like that.
So like people.
So example, when you make a Big Mac, you're supposed to use quarter-pound patties that are like you use for the quarter-pound hamburgers that they have.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use 2 of those, which are probably twice as thick as the pickle. However, they have been told that if they run out of those to continue to sell Big Macs, they're supposed to use whatever patties they have on hand, which means they use a basic regular hamburger cheeseburger patty on those fucking Big Macs. That's why that shit happened. That's why she threw a fit. That's why when he went, out of the 3, 2 of them were like that, because he probably, the one that wasn't, probably was the last Big Mac patties they had, and then they made the next 2 out of the others. So Mickey D's is like, fuck, we've been caught. Okay, we're gonna give you an extra patty now.
Yeah, and of course the price of it went up, of course, too. And he was saying that this was a sales tactic, like, you know, create a problem, then create a solution, right? Because he was showing like videos, commercials of like McDonald's back in the 90s and 80s, and the patties always in the videos, and you've seen pictures before. They're always like some thick, juicy patties. You've seen the pictures, like they look like some hefty burger meat inside of it. But when you go there and you get the real burger, it's like, yeah, that don't really match the image that's online. Because like, there's one guy that's suing Taco Bell for like $1.5 million because he kept going to a Taco Bell near him, and he kept getting the taco pizza taco that's in a wrap, right? And it showed this in a picture.
Crunch wrap.
Yeah, he showed this thick picture with thick meat and the wrap and the cheese, like it's thick boy. But he got his, it looked like it was flatter than a pancake. It was almost not existent, right? And now he's suing Taco Bell. And people are saying that a lot of markets right now are doing this whole like image online, and then what you're buying in real life is fake, and you're not getting what you're buying, and people are starting to sue. And I'm wondering, is it also part of that whole shrinkflation? Because I know the shrinkflation was real, because literally somebody's suing Walmart right now because they went to Walmart, had to scale and saw how much in front of the meat it always says how much meat's inside of it, what the weight was. They put it on a scale, and it was always way lower than what the package said. So someone's suing them for that. So I'm just like, I'm kind of amazed that people are just now noticing these kind of things. Like, you don't think this wasn't happening beforehand? Like,
this shit's been happening for years. You're just now catching on to it. That's all it is.
yeah, it's like,
there's a reason why if you need 2 pounds of hamburger meat, you buy the 2.45 pound package, because chances are you're not going to get the 0.45. You're just going to get the 2.
Yeah.
You know?
That same thing goes for pizza. Like, I've ordered pizza before in the past and been like, oh, this thick, juicy pizza. And next time I go there, it's like, it's thinner than cardboard. I'm like, what happened? Like, they just must have had a rough day, or they didn't let it rise, or didn't have enough dough left. So there's a number of things that can happen. And I've been noticing for a long time, even before COVID, that sometimes I go to Taco Bell and I'll give me some things and look inside of it like, where's the meat? Like, where is it at? All I see is lettuce, pickles, and some cheese, and a little tiny thin layer of taco meat. Like, it ain't like 2:00 in the morning. Where's the meat at? Like, I guess they forgot to have a stock, or just tell me, hey, we don't get the food here today. And it does suck, because I complain plenty of times. That's why I always call them up and complain, because you might get free food next time you go there, which I always do. I hate being that Karen guy, but I'm sorry if I get my food and I open it up and it's not what I ordered or what you promised me, I will call up and go, hey, give me something. I'm that guy. It's like, hey, since you fucked up, give me something. And they always get your name and stuff like that. It's always, people don't feel like that's a nice thing to do, but I do it. My wife will get really mad if I don't too. She could be that Karen.
My biggest thing is when sometimes I don't necessarily believe that the issue is the restaurant. I think it's the suppliers.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes the restaurants get a shitload of heat because like they made you a skinny taco, but that was because the suppliers didn't get the shit to them on time.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up getting fucked because they're the man in the middle.
Yeah.
They're getting bitched at by you because you didn't get what you wanted, rightfully. But at the same time, they're like, but we didn't fucking cause it. You know, so they go to say some shit to the supplier. Supplier's like, we don't even have to take you shit. We don't have to bring you nothing. I mean, if you want to get sassy.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I mean, considering I worked for the food restaurant for 15 years, I can't say personally I run into many situations where I was like, I'm short on something. My restaurants, I guess they were smart. We always overstocked. I mean, whatever we needed like 8 times that amount, because we always knew there could be that one day that we were heavier than we thought we were.
But the problem with that is now you can't really do that.
Yeah, nowadays you can't. Yeah, true.
Suppliers have caps on how much they can bring you because they have limited supply. Because they don't pre-plan. You know, what it is, what I like to call a trickle-down effect. You know, they didn't pre-plan, so that fucks you on how much you can pre-plan. So then you're more likely to fail the person at the end of the line that's wanting it, that's ordering it.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, if everybody's still trying to catch up from COVID. Like, it feels like 2 years has passed.
I seen Taco Bell in 3 different places around me literally run out of taco meat long before there was ever a COVID issue. And it was simply because the suppliers didn't deliver the day they were supposed to deliver.
Yeah. I can vouch for 2 of our local area places that I worked for that they ordered 2-3 times as much as what they usually need.
Yeah.
And they will run out because they didn't come.
Supplier didn't show up.
We've got
and
lucky.
Sometimes they don't show up for a whole fucking week.
Oof.
So then they're like, okay, we can only sell this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you get people, why is my shit like, well, because unfortunately we don't have, well, you shouldn't be selling it then. We tried to tell you that, you chose to still order it. You're at a no-win situation, honestly, because let's be honest. Sorry to the general public if they want to get their butts hurt about this. Y'all suck.
True.
Because honestly, if they tell you it doesn't take more than 2 brain cells to understand 1 + 1 = 2. They don't have food, you don't get food. That's all it takes.
Yeah,
That means you need to find somewhere else.
I had only one real incident. It's mostly the recurring incidents. It was normally if like, hey, we only made so many ribs tonight for like a restaurant I was in, and we didn't prep no more because normally we don't go through this amount of ribs, and if we make too much ribs, we'll have a lot of ribs in the night that we got to throw away. Right? It was like,
Right.
okay, either we make too much of it and throw away of it, or not enough of it and we run out of it and the customer wants it. And we've had that a couple of times where people are like, hey, we want ribs. Sorry, we didn't prep enough ribs tonight because usually on these days we don't have these many customers asking for ribs. So we didn't bother with it. But we had to stop for it. But either like if you want it, you gotta wait like an hour. Like what? You mean an hour? Like yeah.
There was one time we had a promotional item.
Mm-hmm.
And our person who orders the food looked at it. They get to taste it first, and they're like, "Yeah, this is gonna be a big fucking item." They ordered way more than they I guess you would think you would need.
Yeah,
and we still ran out.
That is yeah, it does happen. But all I say is,
people don't believe that shit. That's the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm. I would rather tell the customers like, "Hey, we don't have enough to make your product," than tell them, "Yeah, we have the product," and not give them what they like. Pretty much give them all that they asked for. Like again,
right?
If I say, "Give me a burger," and you give me a cardboard thing of beef, I'm like, you might as well not even made it. Like I understand what you're trying here, but you failed at the process.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I agree. I would rather say, hey, you gonna order a Big Mac? Hey, dude, I'm out of Big Mac patties. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I got regular patties and and shit, but I'm out of. Be honest, you know.
Or maybe use double the patties. I don't know if that would work, but just
You
might be limited on that too.
Yeah.
Seeing into that is it doesn't matter if you say that because the client is going to do what the client wants.
Well, this reminds me of
that's the issue. Let's be honest, and you know what I'm talking about, Corvo. That's an issue that we're currently having because at our job, we literally are telling them, "Look, we don't have a choice. This is your freaking your. This is how long it's going to take." They're like, "You need to make it short." We can't. We're telling you we can't. Well, if you don't, then we lose the business. I'm sorry, you lose the business, and then they get pissy.
And the problem with using double the patties like that is now you're going to make the other ones run shortage. So
yeah.
I mean, it really comes down to a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If your supplier fucks you and doesn't show up for a week, well, you're fucked. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you do, something's gonna run out of something somewhere. I mean, or if you just got some asshole in the back that didn't want to walk 10 feet to get some more of the Big Mac patties, then that's a situation too. There's a number of damn reasons that shit can happen. But more often than not, around where I live at, if you order something and you don't get like the quantity of the item, it's usually because the fucking suppliers didn't show up like they were supposed to.
Yeah. I had this have a feeling that is sometimes people always have that in their mind because they've been told it so many times. The customer's always right, but no one knows the full quote. It's the customer is right in the matter of taste. And in this case, the matter of taste is, in your opinion, right, that you are right, but doesn't mean you are right. Just in your opinion, you are right. And if I order something and they think it's right and I don't think it's right, well then that's my opinion. And then of course, also betting that the person that gets the food that gets the wrong, like let's say wrong amount or quality they get, just hope they're not the people that would sue. I'm not the Taco Bell guy. He's the only one who's like, you know what? I have the money and the time. Fuck it, let's go. Most people will be like, you know what? I don't care. It's food. It's edible. I can eat it. I don't have enough. There's not enough there, but I'll deal. And a lot of people just deal. I don't like that mentality, but you take the punches where you can. But yeah, that's it for this week. Boomer, I'm not gonna give you no attention, my dude, because I have bad grammar and bad spelling, but you need to work on your stuff badly. So I'll see y'all later. No stream tonight. I wasn't a stream tonight, but today is technically me and my wife's anniversary.
Aww.
So
congratulations, guys.
15 years. So
yeah, you tell loving one to give you 2 slaps in the back of your bald head for me.
Oh, I'll give her 2 slaps in the back of her something. But I'll talk to y'all later. And as always, have a good day, have a good night, have a good life. Much love, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
1, 2.